Volodymyr Zelensky discussed possible support from Ukraine with the President of the United Arab Emirates. And today, at a briefing, the President of Ukraine emphasized we cannot transfer weapons which we are short of, but we are ready to share our own experience in repelling massive enemy attacks. According to Zelensky, if we are given missiles for the Patriot system, we are ready to provide our interceptor drones.
If we are talking about something on a global scale, training our teams, our weapons, that's what I mentioned yesterday. I understand what a massive attack is. All of us here understand it. If the leaders of the Middle East manage to reach an agreement with Putin, and they have good economic relations, at least economically, if they agree with him on a ceasefire, then those guys who are currently defending our skies could go and defend or teach those societies how to protect themselves from Iranian attacks. But we have a shortage of PAC-3s. Yes? For example, if we talk about weapons during the war that we are short of, it's PAC-3 missiles. If they give them to us, we will give them interceptors. That's an equal exchange.
Iran openly and immediately supported Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, effectively becoming an external workshop for Russian weaponry. Since the beginning of the large-scale war, Russia has already launched more than 57,000 Iranian Shahed attack drones at our cities and villages, residential buildings, schools and hospitals, at our energy infrastructure. But it seems that this alliance is finally starting to crack. Now Tehran is focusing on its own security.
And here, Moscow's position is quite telling. Russia is in no hurry to openly take the side of its partner. The Kremlin limits itself to only restrained statements. Does this mean the alliance between the two dictatorships is fragile? Why did Iran become an accomplice in Russia's war in Ukraine? And what should we expect now that the United States and its allies are trying to destroy Iran's military-industrial complex? Yevgenia Tereshchenko in detail.
January 2020. 176 people died in the Ukrainian passenger plane. It was shot down by Iran with air defense missiles. At the time, Tehran called the disaster an accident, a mistake caused by human error. But for 4 years now, Iranian drones have been killing thousands of Ukrainians, and there is no talk of any accident anymore.
The Iranian regime itself chose to be an accomplice to Putin and supplied him with Shaheds. In total, during this time of full-scale war, the Russians have used more than 57,000 Shahed-type attack drones against Ukraine.
The active partnership between the two dictatorships began in 2022. For decades, Iran has invested in asymmetric security.
Missile program. If we don't have aviation, we will invest in making sure that our missiles can reach, well, even Israel, and the drone program. It's cheap, it can be multiplied, and you can make a lot of them.
And it was precisely the strike UAVs that interested the Kremlin. At first, Tehran supplied Moscow with finished products, and later with the technology as well.
When it comes to Russia's use of drones, we're really talking about their own Geren models now. That is, they have significantly diverged from the original design in terms of technology and components.
Shaheds, or their analogs, the Gerens, have become Russia's main tool for striking Ukraine's civilian and energy infrastructure.
So objectively, Iran's transfer of Shaheds turned out to be much, much more dangerous than any threat of transferring ballistic missiles.
Tehran denied the Iranian origin of the Shaheds, singing their own version of "They're not there." Then information emerged that Russia was also interested in missiles. There is no evidence that Russia has used Iranian missiles in Ukraine, but other weaponry is known about.
Iran transferred, sold munitions, including artillery shells. In any case, those massive ships, specifically the heavy cargo vessels, were constantly and tirelessly running back and forth between the nations of Iran and Russia.
Bloomberg notes that since the end of 2021, Iran has sold Russia military equipment worth over $4 billion. In return, Tehran received, among other things, Russian air defense systems.
Iran expected to receive aircraft, fighter jets from Russia, as well as S-300 and possibly S-400 missile systems. Based on the extensive information currently available regarding what Russia has supplied since 2022, and even what has been frequently cited operating within the region in recent months, combat attack helicopters have been clearly identified and documented, as well as various types of heavy armored transport vehicles.
Recently, the Financial Times reported that Iran had made a secret deal with Russia to supply 500 Verba man-portable air defense systems with missiles. However, Tehran did not manage to receive them in time. But Iran obtained something else from Russia, the tactic of massive drone strikes that exhaust air defenses. And this is exactly how Tehran attacked the countries of the Persian Gulf.
British fighter jets are already in the air as part of coordinated defense operations, which have already successfully intercepted Iranian strikes.
We will also involve experts from Ukraine, together with our own specialists, to help our partners in the Gulf countries shoot down the Iranian drones that are attacking them.
Ukrainians have something that many other countries lack: experience.
How do you even organize air defense against Shaheds? What depth is needed, what means, what kind of deployment, how many munitions are required, what is the expenditure, what works, what doesn't, and under what conditions. That is, how many, say, mobile fire teams should be stationed for every, say, 10 kilometers so that you don't have to shoot down a Shahed with a Patriot, basically.
So what did Russia do, despite its close cooperation with Iran, when in the summer of 2025, Israel, with US support, carried out the military Operation Eastern Lion? It expressed concern.
The fact that there is such a connection with Russia, which has not justified itself already has a very strong impact, possibly on both the resilience of the current Iranian regime itself and on how it is perceived by the Russian Federation, to which they turned for help and which did not respond in any way.
Russia is losing one of its few allies, although a prolonged war in Iran is beneficial to the Kremlin.
On the one hand, of course, it does not want to lose an ally in whom it has invested, who has helped, who was important, and with whom it had plans. But on the other hand, in principle, it is interested in this war because it is interested in destabilizing the situation in the Middle East. It is interested in rising oil prices.
Meanwhile, there are risks for Ukraine. Iran is supplying its allies with drones and missiles, and those allies in particular are using up Patriot system missiles, of which only about 600 are produced per year.
And all these countries, such as Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Kuwait, and Bahrain, have these systems in service and have been repelling these attacks with the help of Patriots. Plus, there are also drones. For example, the US uses APKWS there, and APKWS is something that we also use.
Every day, as long as Iran continues to bombard Israel, the military bases of allied countries, and the countries of the Persian Gulf, it depletes the stockpiles of missiles for air defense systems. And our country may face a shortage. This happened in June 2025, when the US Secretary of Defense ordered that air defense missiles intended for Ukraine be redirected to the Middle East to protect American troops. However, according to Volodymyr Zelensky, Kyiv has not received any signals regarding the reduction of programs. Yevgenia Tereshchenko, We Are Ukraine, United News Marathon.